Welcome to this episode of Rise Real Estate. In this episode, we're talking strategy. If you have one, reach out to us. We'd love to learn what yours looks like. We have, up until now, been able to work our strategy on trying to stay under leveraged at all times and pay off when we can. But sometimes you have to stay flexible. And that's what this one was for us, a little bit of a getting out of our comfort zone and trying to be a little bit more flexible. I had a client who happened to be a family member that was wanting to build a house, and he had already owned a house. It was in his family, his grandpa's house that he bought, and they kind of wanted it to stay in the family, so they were offering it to their brother. And we actually went over ahead of time to help the brother do a few repairs to get ready for his house to be listed. And while we were over there doing some light repairs, we got to talking to him, and he really didn't want the traditional listing. He, had a different work shift. He was working third shift, trying to sleep during the day. And so having people in and out just wasn't going to work for his sleep schedule. And once we got into it, the amount of work was maybe a little bit more than he wanted to handle. So we offered to purchase that house.
Yep. So he asked me to come by and help him do a fence repair, and actually, I think it was almost a year before any of this house purchasing talk was going on, he had an issue with a post on the corner of the deck, and we actually went in and jacked that up and just made it more secure. So he knew that I was familiar with doing some repairs and asked me to come in and help him fix some things up, and really didn't want to make the investment in his property to get it to top dollar. He was willing to take a little bit less to not have to mess with the hassle like you were talking about because of his third shift position.
Well, and I think he also just really needed enough out of it to be able to get into the other house smoothly. One of the things that we did, let them know that we're flexible on the closing. We don't, we didn't care when we closed what. So he actually purchased the brother's house, and then they were able to move out within that next week or two. We let them go ahead and move. We, closed, and they went ahead and moved out. So it was really about trying to make it as easy as possible, smooth transition for the three houses, all together getting closed and moved. And we did, and this was our fastest turnaround on a house.
Absolutely. So we picked this up, I think, in early July.
Yeah. We turned it around in 28 days.
Late June, early July, and basically it was before 60 days that we were sold, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Total. I mean, from purchase to sold, it was less than 60 days, and that was a really good feeling. Fortunately, there wasn't a ton of work on this one, but we did get to do some things, because it's only our fourth one. We got to do some things that we haven't done before, and one of those
wallpaper. We always do wallpaper.
Oh, we got stupid wallpaper everywhere. I was kind of excited to be able to try the foam jacking on the front porch, on the exterior, because it was clearly had sunk a little bit, and it was a very quick, efficient fix. It looked really good by the time they were done. I think they put a tiny little hairline crack in it, but I think people would complain about it, but it's not something that I thought was worth complaining about.
I think compared to the 2-inch drop that
Absolutely.
It was, I think people would have complained more about that than the tiny hairline crack after.
For sure.
But they did a great job. It was very easy for them to come and do. The other alternative to that would have been probably tearing out that whole concrete. We talked about it, but with the brick surrounding it would have been kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know that it would have been worth it to do that. So kind of working around the outside of the house, we thought it was in good shape. It had some really thick cedar siding on it, and it looked good. The paint was not awesome, but that was basically just on the front side of the house, and we thought that it would fly. We thought it was okay, and we didn't find out until we went through some inspections that they wanted it to look a little bit better. And so we wound up having to do a little bit of siding repair. The chimney, I think, was the worst. It had gotten some actual rot down into the sheeting, and so I replaced some of the sheeting. But all in all, there wasn't much on the exterior of the house that needed to be done.
They did have some drainage issues with it was sloped more than you think initially, and some by the air conditioner, ton of dirt had kind of washed away, and so we did have to bring in quite a bit of dirt to help correct some of that drainage and some siding.
Yeah, I think if somebody really cared about the house and really wanted to live there and take care of it and have a nice yard, I think they would backfill quite a bit and bring in some terracotta like pavers stepped up and create kind of a retaining wall there, because the property was kind of strange. It seemed like it was very prone to runoff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just the way it sat. So I think we did have the dirt guy put in some bricks underneath some of the dirt so that a lot of that doesn't just wash away the next rain. So hopefully in an effort to keep some of that in there for the future. So we did raise the steps up. You laid a pad. As the steps were wooden and they were just on the ground, and I think over time they had sunk. So we pulled the steps off. He made a concrete pad and then put the steps back on them to keep them from sinking again.
Yeah, just give them something firm to stand on. The shed is kind of another example of the way that things were shifting over there. The shed was pretty wobbly looking, and we really didn't invest much time or effort into dealing with that because it wouldn't have really brought any value to us. Might have brought just as much or more value to just smash it or burn it. I kept telling the owner that I was going to burn it down, and he's like, no, don't burn my shed. I like to rile these guys up.
So yeah, for the most part, the exterior at a nice big corner lot, So, yeah.
So moving to the inside, just kind of that typical neglected, just lived in, nothing bad about this one. It was just wallpaper everywhere that had been painted over.
Starting to peel.
Carpet that it was time for new flooring for sure. The bathrooms, there was two bathrooms in this particular house. One of the things that I didn't personally care for about this house is it didn't seem like there was a true master primary bedroom situation where there was an ensuite bathroom. This bathroom was a little bit bigger with a double sink and bathtub and toilet and whatnot, and two entries, one from the bedroom that would be considered the primary and one from the hallway. But to me, I always was a bit concerned about that, and we actually considered somehow dividing the bathroom and creating a very small closet-type bathroom toilet, but it really just didn't make any sense, so we wound up not doing it.
Yeah, just the cost that would have cost to do that would have we wouldn't have got it back.
No. If that space was a little bit bigger and we could have done it, I think we would have easily gotten our money back. But there was just nowhere for us to get that extra probably 8 square feet, 10 square feet, literally, to give you enough room for a sink and a toilet to make the primary kind of independent and private. And I think that that's really important to me, at least. How many people do you see that kind of think, as you go through houses where they're like, oh, I was really hoping to do you see that or no?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've got a couple listed right now where, there's not a true master, or, and I think people are kind of looking for that. It's hard on that age, that 80s, 90s age of house. You just didn't really, you had a master, but like that, the door went into the bathroom, but it wasn't the true bathroom for it. So, yeah.
No. So the dining room, kitchen, there wasn't really anything special about that. The kitchen was in fairly good shape. We tossed around kind of maybe redoing countertops, but we wound up it just seemed like what we paid for this house was what, 90?
No, it was 190.
I'm sorry, 190.
Yeah.
190, and
yeah.
it didn't seem like, even at top dollar in the area, Derby's a very nice little town, and it does get, Andover, Derby are some of the higher priced areas in the Wichita area.
Mm-hmm.
And
we could have gone crazy in the kitchen, but again, it was very small. The cabinets were good. We just cleaned them up. New hardware, new flooring in there. But there was no way to reconfigure the kitchen. So it would have been taking out fine cabinets to put back new cabinets. So it wouldn't have given us any more. I think our money was better spent on the flooring. We did really nice engineered hardwood floors. And
the best part about that was
we didn't do it.
I didn't have to do it.
Yeah, we didn't do it. We called on the guys we used before. They did a great job. We had the hardwood installed. We did the rest: bedrooms carpet, downstairs carpet, and then upstairs was the engineered hardwood, and it looked really good. And
seemed like it took them about 2 days to do all the flooring. Was it longer than that? The hardwood, maybe
2 or 3. Yeah, I think the hardwood took 2, and then the carpet guys came in 1 day. So, but it really made it look nice, clean. Yeah.
All in all, I think we painted the ceilings. Didn't we paint the ceilings?
Yeah, we scrubbed the ceilings with that it had the really thick popcorn, and we used this super stiff brush and just knocked a ton of that off. You didn't remove the popcorn.
Yeah.
But it was certainly less popcorn, and it was clean.
Yeah.
So we did that to all the rooms, and then we painted them, and it just looked so much fresher, brighter.
Mm-hmm.
Just that kind of, and then we fought a little bit there was a little bit of wallpaper that we kept right over the stairs, and he didn't want to, but I didn't want to mess with it, so we kept it.
You didn't want to get up on the ladder,
get up there.
14 feet in the air,
Yeah.
and watch me rip off wallpaper.
Yeah. But it had 2 fireplaces. It was a good little house. Really, we put it on the market. We got a VA buyer, and VA called out some of that exterior siding things. The siding was like okay. The paint was okay. And we actually offered the new buyer, like, hey, we'll could replace the 10 boards. Yeah.
We offered to reside the whole house.
Yeah.
For something really reasonable, like $15,000 or something.
Yeah.
And it was more of a, hey, we're willing to go that extra step to make it nicer, but we want to make sure that we're not taking it out of our pockets, and
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically cost neutral. We were doing it so they would have good siding on the house, and we wouldn't be spending $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 out of our pockets and
Mm-hmm.
for nothing. So I was really hopeful that they would do it just so we could make it better for them, because I know that if they ever go to put siding back on that house, it's going to cost $40,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
I just know how people shop.
So they didn't want it. They wanted us just to go through and pick through the boards that were bad. It was really a couple on the north side. The back side, it was the chimney was worse, and then a couple on the south side, and a few of the soffits.
Yeah.
It was hot. It was August. It sucked. We were out there.
They asked us to put a cover over the window well.
Yes,
So
I did try to
build one of
find.
those.
I did try to find somebody that could make a window well cover. It was a pretty large egress window.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to a couple of companies, and it was going to be outrageous. So you made one.
I think it was at least $800 was kind of a common price you were finding for that.
No, it was more like $1,000 for.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I built it out of a couple of 2x4s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we took care of that pretty quick. All in all, it was a very good experience. What was really different for us was this is the first time that we got financing. And so we didn't know exactly what that was going to look like. We went to a bank that we do business with personally, and we have some of the business stuff there. Asked them if they'd be willing to give us financing, and that's where we learned about having to give a balance sheet and show kind of our financial
Profit and loss.
P&L statements, and that's where we talked last time about we were able to show our other two properties paid off, and they used those as part of the mortgage, and we've done that twice now. It's worked out for us both times, but we're also starting to build, I think, a little bit of credibility, and I'm hoping that we can get those two properties off because we've proven ourselves that we can do this.
I was nervous about the interest only loan that we got. I they have a deadline, so interest only for a year, and honestly, we weren't really sure of our timeline. Like, we'd never done anything super quick because we didn't have to. We worked on it. We work on them, but if we wanted to take off, we could, and if we had to take off, we did. So having something that was really pressing, like a interest only loan for a short time, made me very nervous.
Well, luckily, like we said, we got that one knocked out in less than 60 days total, and it went well. We wound up selling it for $265,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
And we actually made a little bit of money on it, and that's the goal. That's the direction we're moving. And so,
and the cousins were happy. They were each able to close on their homes, and I hope that we made it a little less stressful for them. Like, they knew that they didn't have to worry about that part of it. Like,
absolutely.
So
they really wanted to be a part of this episode, and I'm struggling to keep everything on track here, on time, doing this every week. It's a lot more work than I had anticipated, but we're going to keep trying to do this every week, and we do want to get them on for a show just because it's always fun for me to hassle those guys.
Oh, they are hilarious. So you'll have to come back when they come back.
Come back and listen to that one. Hey, thanks if you've tuned in before. Thanks if this is your first time. Thank you for checking us out, and we hope to be able to put out content that people can learn from, and feel free to engage with us. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments, and please like and subscribe.
Thanks.